up in smoke, a pair of heroes will rise and lift us higher than ever before. Chris! MTV Studios presents a buddy comedy
Green eggs and ham
of blunt proportions.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is a movie podcast where we're talking sequels and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Hope you enjoyed last week's interview with actress Susan Gallagher. She has a very minor role that she gets credit. You know, people reach out to her on social media and say, you have a great scream in one of the earlier scenes in this week's sequel, How High 2, which I think Jamie almost wanted to quit because of this movie. Maybe. But yeah, Susan was great. We talked about her acting career that was so interesting, and she had so many cool things along the way. Like, she was in Cop and a Half early on in her career. Her scenes got cut with Burt Reynolds, but still really cool early on. She would fly out to pilot season every year and bring her kids, and the kids would do their schooling on set for that month, which I think was, what a cool mom. I would love to have had that type of experience. The kids probably got in, ran into just while on set was probably pretty cool. But her audition and the way she self-submitted to get the role of homeless Lynn on Cobra Kai was pretty rad. She made herself look terribly gross because she's not that way. So she had to really do the complete opposite. Still a homeless lady, and she got the role because of it. So yeah. So if you haven't heard that, go back and check that out. But wait until we discuss the sequel that I don't think a lot of people wanted, How High 2. Before I mention any more of there were like three things I loved about this movie. I can't, before I get into any of those, the horse that you just heard, I got to introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I'm okay, Doug. How are you doing?
This was one of those that, again, even though it came out in 2019, one that I never knew existed, because
one that should not have existed.
I do love that in the beginning of the movie, like the titles card for MTV Films says MTV Scripted. Like, they've really, like, yeah, we know that these aren't riffed lines, but one actor in the movie, there's a few people that I do love. I think sometimes he needs to be in the right role. Second time we saw a movie with DC Young Fly, he's pretty funny in some of the parts in this movie. And Mike Epps, barely in it, but he was still enjoyable. But my favorite was, and I hope you agree, was D. Ray Davis, the neighbor. No,
Doug, I hated this movie.
I know, I did too. I didn't like it.
There was nothing. There's nothing. I don't care. You had some good actors in there. Their roles were awful. The acting was awful. The special effects were awful. The script was awful. The movie was awful. It's I don't know what it's bumping out, but it's a top 3 worst film we've Doug, I say this a lot. This literally had the least amount of notes. I think I have 6 lines.
Wow.
Okay? I couldn't write anything.
I only have 2 pages, which is very light for me. No, I totally agree. But I always think it's fascinating that you can get these people. And that guy, D. Ray Davis, if you look at his IMDb and he does stand up, he's been in so much and he's funny. The thing I loved about him was you could tell it was improv because he was just riffing lines. Like, he would say a line. And I just thought it was pretty funny that he bought a nice house and he was so happy that he turned it into a trap house. And the fact that he's banging what's his name's mom, and you thought the mom was like a fat, overweight woman, and it wasn't at the end.
See, I can't. I didn't like any of it. I thought his jokes were forced. I think the not what's his name, the one that tried to act like
Little Yaki,
Chris
man,
Tucker.
not good.
He's not good. Chris Tucker,
That's what I mean.
Wannabe, was not good. Oh,
he's okay.
Not at all. No, he wasn't. No, he forced everything. It just the scenes were stupid. I'm telling you, this this took me a while. I kept shutting it off. I needed to walk around my house a few times to come back and put it back on. This was an awful. And then when you go to IMDb and you look up the reviews, I don't think there's anything higher than a 2. Like,
I agree with that.
This was, and it has. I don't think it has anything to do with the first movie.
I think the only thing that had to do with the first movie when they showed the guy at the college when they started smoking the ashes.
Okay, so a side character for 2 seconds that has to do, and these guys barely smoke. They smoke, I think, once in the whole movie.
Yeah.
So
once, once early, and then when they collect roaches, and then when they use her pen, and then he gets his nipples.
But that's it. Like, it's just like, it was just, they were just finding out where their weed was. They were looking for the book. Like, I mean, I don't know. It was very bad. I hated it.
But you know, with these movies, they always cast an actress that is, I think, a solid actress, can be a lot of stuff and beautiful. And I don't think I've ever seen her in another one. Just like Next Friday, like that girl, she was great in that role. She was like visibly stunning. Like when she was on screen, you were like entranced by her. Never saw her again. Even the girl in this movie. But you know what's funny about this movie? And I think this is what's great about what we do. No. Is when you really break it down, when you watch a movie and you take it for what it is, it's insane. Like her character, like if she ever told her friends or her parents, like how she met this guy and what she did, she gave up a job where she was going to be, at the very end, it was like she became VP, but she was like rising up the ranks. She sees some guy she hasn't seen since high school, which was, how old are they? They're like maybe 30s. So like 12, 15 years. She's ready to give everything up for a guy that doesn't even have a job at this point. He's just fired.
He's dressed like a slob when she meets him, and she finds that hot. I mean, he's wearing like, it looks like a guinea tee or whatever with stains on it. Like, and she's hitting on, like, she's like, finds that attractive. Like, it's just, I mean, again, this movie is aggravating. It's stupid. She fights like John Wick. Like, what is that? Like, I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's so, it's like each scene they were forcing each scene to try to be funny, and it just didn't work. And then you had Motormouth just keep going, and that doesn't work. It just, I don't know. It was just, it was an aggravating movie to watch. It was, going into it, I don't smoke weed. I get it. I love Cheech and Chong movies. I like the first How High. I like, I can get into these movies.
But you don't like Harold and Kumar. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, but again, okay, as much as I hate Harold and Kumar, blows this movie out of the water. I mean, but again, it's also chemistry, right? I feel like the Harold and Kumar, I don't like the chemistry they have, right? I think Method Man had great chemistry, right? I think Cheech and Chong obviously have great chemistry. In Chappelle and Jim Brewer and that crew, had great chemistry. These guys, it just looks like they're trying to make like a B movie rap video, I think. And I had to put it on subtitles because I couldn't understand either of the two main characters when they were talking.
I know.
I literally had to put on subtitles because I could not understand. That even got me even more aggravated. So,
and then Mary Lynn, I can never pronounce her last name.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Her character, it was like, I think this was obviously, it was years before. Remember that white woman that was like in charge of like, not the NAACP, but there was something in New York City. And then she was like lying and trying to identify as black. And she was a white woman.
Yes.
And her parents got interviewed. They were both white. It was like this weird thing. She reminded me, it was like she was trying to play her when she had the dreads and the way she was talking.
And all the actresses in Hollywood, that's the best you can come up with. Like,
well, that's probably what they get.
I know she's. I mean, the funny thing is, like, she played it. I mean, I used to watch 24, and I couldn't stand her character in 24. And I didn't know that she's a comedian. Like, she's actually a comedian.
Yeah, she's funny.
Like, well, I mean, everybody has their own taste. I don't think she's funny, and I did not like her in this role. Again, I feel like it was forced, and it just, I don't know, it didn't work. I think.
Who was your favorite character? If you had to choose one, is there any character? Was it the man? I feel like this is going to be a weird review for us the way we're talking about it. But
yes,
would you choose the white lady clown?
Okay. See. Okay. So I mean, obviously, the crew of misfits that they pick up. The burger guy who you couldn't understand.
The barbecue guy who has a smoker and they're smoking the weed into the building.
No, honestly, outside. I mean, listen. I guess the only one that I liked just because she was good looking was the girl. Like she was really hot.
Yeah. Angela.
Yeah. But but no, there's no one I like. There's nothing. I don't think there was any scene that I thought was funny at all. And a lot of times in these movies, even like Harold Kumar, as much as I hated it, I'm sure, if I go back, there's probably maybe 2 scenes or 3 scenes I could find that, fine, I laughed a little bit.
The overt racism scenes with Rob Corddry, how racist he is in.
Okay, but he's funny. I can go.
Oh yeah.
This movie, I honestly, and we're gonna go through the review. Maybe I forgot a scene, but based on the lack of notes I have, I'm gonna say I didn't find anything funny. So no, I'm gonna answer your question. There was nothing at all funny in this movie.
Nothing.
Maybe the mom. Maybe the mom. I'll try to.
Nene Leakes is her name. I knew her, and the other women that they showed are from I think one of the Housewives shows. But the guy isn't. He was basically playing a black Andy Cohen. Like the way he was talking.
Okay. Yeah.
He was playing like a black Andy Cohen.
Well, but okay, so I've heard of her name, but not even her character later on when you see her. I liked her character when you couldn't see her and how she was.
I know, that's what was funny. But that was just funny that you thought it was this fat woman that couldn't move. And it was really her having sex.
Yeah. So that, if I had to pick, it would probably be her.
I like it.
So,
all right, cool.
Okay.
Let's go through this because I think each scene, I don't know how we're going to. So, how about even the opening scene to start the movie? You have these 2 girls that go through the drive-thru of like what seems like, I don't know, like the 17th fast food restaurant in a town that like nobody really goes to. And they pull little Roger is his name. They pull Roger out of the drive-thru window to get him high. And then it seems like they're about to have sex, right? And then they're like, sorry, we're going to have to rob you now.
Well, no, they were pretending. Obviously, they were getting. First of all,
I know.
What was that contraption? That gas mask that he had? Like is
that
was
a bong? That was a bong. Yeah.
No, I know it was, but like, is that a thing? Like, I mean, like, it looked bizarre. Like, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Again,
no,
I don't
it's
know
real.
weed smokers.
It's real.
Oh, do you have one of those?
I've read about it. No, funny quick story. There was that football player who went to. Some people probably know listening. There's an NFL player who's a left tackle. He's supposed to go in like the top 10. And then somebody leaked a photo of him ripping that bong with his face in it.
So the mask is attached to the bong? Or the mask is the bong?
You laid it at the bottom. You laid it at the bottom.
Oh, my gosh.
But anyway, that cost him. He's still in the league. He's one of the best left tackles in the league. That cost him like $10 million because he dropped from like top 10 to 27th or something.
That's ridiculous.
Over a bong. That's insane.
Well, okay. Well, regardless, I don't see those 2 like rich girls having a contraption like that. Like they're too like bougie, prissy that if they're gonna smoke, like whatever. But they're not gonna have that to me is like a hardcore like freaky, smoker. That's what I would assume. So that was kind of weird.
Yeah, and the fact that they're like robbing the place and like
of all the
no
places,
one's there
why
still.
robbing that place?
Like it's not at the end of the night, right? It was obviously nighttime, but there was probably people there.
Well, they didn't notice he was gone. He just literally went through the window and left. I mean, okay, first of all, he's working the drive-thru, right? So no other car showed up.
I know. What about the next guy?
and they're not wondering where he is. And it seemed like the girls weren't smoking at all.
No,
he smoked.
Yeah.
So like what was like? I mean, I don't know. I guess he thought it was going to go somewhere, but yeah. And okay. So the minute they decided to rob him, he couldn't handle those two girls. He's not a small guy.
Well,
Like
he passed out. I guess he is sort of a lightweight because what happened next? From just smoking that, he is somehow duct taped and put under the table, and nobody noticed this.
Okay. So these two girls are small.
Yeah.
How are they getting him? Okay, first, so they had to slide him through, which is probably not easy to get him out of the car, because it's dead weight at that point. So they have to move this dead weight, drag him across the floor because they're not lifting him so they had to go through the front doors of this restaurant, which you're going to have someone at the counter. Right? You see, no one saw that, dragged him to the back. So you get the back and it's so dumb. And no one noticed. They noticed when they went by him. And was it the next morning? Was that what it was?
No, it was Susan. Susan's character went to sit down, and he woke up, and then he screamed. Okay. And then that's when the main guy. It's not like the cops were there. Then he's talking to the manager, apologizing for everything, and it's like, wait, nobody noticed them when they were maybe when the cops were sweeping for evidence? No. Nothing.
And why did he just say? I mean, I think he told the truth, right? Did he tell them the truth? What happened? Or no?
He did. No, he did tell the truth.
Right. So why? Yeah. He shouldn't have done that. He should have said, "I was robbed," and just leave it like that. Like he was tied up and robbed. That might have worked.
And for a guy that's going to be an entrepreneur with his business that is basically even at this time, Uber Eats, all those businesses, for stoners. There's a company called Go Puff, I think, around back then. But the fact
that was a real company.
Yeah, Go Puff. Yeah, it's one of the ones they just do it's basically the same thing as Uber Eats, but they have a different name, But the fact that he was going to go to the bank for an interview to get a loan from the guy from Bones, who's in a few other random things that he's not, that you wouldn't think his character would play. But the fact that he didn't bring a nice shirt. Anyway, he was going to go to that in his fast food restaurant shirt.
Okay. Even if, he clearly went to high school because the principal remembers them. So even if you didn't graduate or, your grades weren't that great, I think the things you need for a loan.
Yeah.
And how you would have to present yourself for a loan. The fact that, first of all, the fact that the guy was even giving him time to speak was amazing, because if I'm that guy and someone walked in like him, I'm thinking he's homeless. What are you doing here?
It's stains on the shirt. It's who'd you just give a loan to? Oh, that guy over there. Oh, the homeless looking guy. That's the guy you gave money to? No really business plan. You don't go to the bank and ask for a loan for a business, which I don't even know. Is that even a thing? We've seen that so many times in TV shows and movies that they go to the bank and pitch their thing. That whole Yes Man movie is about that. That was Jim Carrey's character in the movie. But I don't think that's real.
I can't imagine.
Crazy.
It doesn't sound right. Number one, but
it's Shark Tank. It's basically Shark Tank with a bank.
No, it is. And the fact that he's wearing this, so he had to give up his shirt when he got fired from his job. Did he go straight to the bank?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no time to stop home.
So he had no time to stop home. So it wasn't an interview. He was just going to the bank to get a loan. So why couldn't he stop home? Why did he go straight there?
Oh, I think it was a scheduled meeting. It was a time, 10 o'clock or there was a scheduled time for it.
Well, does he have a car? He doesn't have. Oh, does he have a car?
I don't think he does, because he said Youngfly picks him up. So I don't know if he has a car.
How did he get to the bank? Was it right next door?
The bus, maybe, or he walked? Yeah, I don't know. But
he doesn't have any money, so I don't think it was the bus.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless they're traveling the way they did. Was this a movie? We saw this movie a week ago, so I might be confused. But did they hop in the back of the bus and hang on at one point?
Yeah, they did.
Okay, so maybe that's how he gets around all the time.
Maybe. Okay. But I gotta look that up. Anybody listening, @sequelsonly on Twitter, let us know. If you work at a bank, or you've ever known anyone, or you've done it yourself, actually went into a bank, pitched your idea, did a business plan, and then they were like, okay, yes, I don't think that's man. That'd be I almost think it's crazier if it's real.
It doesn't.
Like,
It seems like
no
it seems like it shouldn't make sense if
It
that's how
should not.
Because you know what? I'll go to the bank tomorrow and just give them a couple of ideas and see, if they like any of them.
I would go there. Yes, I would do that every day.
Every
I'd
day.
be like,
Okay,
"Hey, Bob,
listen, I
next
know you didn't like
Tuesday, you and me."
yesterday's. Okay, you didn't like yesterday's, but here, listen, you got to listen to this idea.
That'd be great.
All
Just
right,
random
the first
ideas.
two weren't that great, but I got a good one this time.
So I was in the shower. You know when you're in the shower and you're trying to look, reach for your gel. Wouldn't it be great if there? Could you imagine? That's what people would do. If this
Bob
was
is
real.
like, he's sighing every time he sees you through the glass window. He's like, "Oh, Doug's here again. All right, Doug, what's the pitch this time?"
Speakers for rollerblades.
So stupid. It can't be real. It just can't be real.
I hope not. But yeah, so then right after that, just before he gets to the bank interview, which we're kind of just like talked about that scene, that's when he runs into Angela. And I wrote down the dialogue because it was so bad. She's like, oh no, it was after he got thrown out of his job. Did he get thrown out of his bank? Did he get thrown out of the bank or his job? He got tossed out somewhere. They did the grab the underwear and throw
the saloon. That was probably the bank. That had to be
the bank. Okay.
Yeah.
So, it was the bank. You're right.
Yeah.
Because that's when she saw him and she goes, I wrote down, Roger, it's Angela from high school.
Okay. First of all, like, he's not going to recognize her. I mean, like, she may not recognize the fact that she recognized him. I mean, but like, so he gets thrown out, like, I mean, like, ridiculous, wearing a disgusting stained shirt. And she wants to she's enjoying the conversation, wants to see him again. Like, again, that makes, like, to me, it's like he looks homeless. He looks homeless in that early on in that movie.
Yeah. Oh no, this is just before they walked in, because then I wrote down something that did make me laugh was just before he went in, he was like asking random people for their shirts. Hey man, do you think I can get your shirt? And I love that they were like extras, and the one old white guy was like, he was fat too. That'd be funny if he went in a shirt like that, like a giant shirt. He looked like he was like shrunken and big.
I don't know. Has he made any other movies besides this one?
Oh, I hope not.
Like, I wonder why they picked him. Like
because he was probably obviously he's still popular now. Like the video with Thibodeau, like on him when he.
I never knew that was him.
Right?
Did you knew that was him? In the video, like that was his.
Oh, I only knew it because I think you told me.
I did. No,
I said isn't it funny we're watching this? Yeah.
Okay.
But maybe he was just so big when that movie came out. But I don't know. I would have thought they would have found somebody else like with DC Youngfly who like somebody from like Wild 'N Out that he has like better rapport with. I don't know. There could have been somebody. There's a lot of other funny people that could have been the role. But again, it's like that Craig to Smokey. You have to have that straight man. So I guess maybe they're like, a little yucky. You're not funny. You're going to play the straight man. I don't know.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. It was just, ugh. All right.
Yeah. But, so yeah, he doesn't get it. And his collateral was gift cards. He busted out some gift cards and said, this one has $8. I think this one has $4. And then right from there, we cut to him going home and D-Ray, Big Bang, is wearing like a Cosby sweater, and at least in this movie, all these movies have this. There's always girls just shaking their booties everywhere. What a world!
Well, that's the world. But like, so first of all, he seems like an idiot, and he's the leading drug dealer in the town.
Oh, Big Bang, yeah.
I mean, he honestly he seems like he's only a step cooler than the two idiots. But like he doesn't seem that cool. Like he seems like really like if you throw him in a real area with like real drug dealers, there's no way he would fit in. Like I feel like he was like I don't know. I just he's dorky. He was kind of dorky.
Oh no,
even though he felt cool because he has his entourage with him, I guess. But yeah, and he had a lot of people there at his house.
A lot of people.
Like no one's working at all. Like they just hang out on the porch the entire time. Okay.
I love his line when he said, like, remember Albie? He goes, Albie? He goes, I'll be at your mama's later.
So dumb.
Oh, so here is that. This is like the exposition to get a movie going. This is like the corniest thing ever.
Oh,
like the fact that they're like swiping and doing like one of those like dating apps, and DC Fly like somehow swipes so hard his phone. Oh, because the girl was attractive, and his phone flies in the air. It hits a piece of brick in the basement wall. And then this is how they find the wee Bible. This is like the most poor, like forced into a movie I've ever seen.
100%. Yeah.
And they smoked the weed. I don't know if I would smoke.
Okay,
I don't think I would smoke
long was
something
it in
that I
there?
just found.
Like, yeah, and no one knew about it. Like, how long they've been living in that house? Like, what was covering it? A picture frame, or
yeah, it was like a picture frame, a piece of metal. But do they don't even give us like that's where Method Man and Redman lived in the original?
See
like,
that
why was
like,
it there?
Right. See, that would have been better. Like at least some kind of connection. There was nothing.
Unless it is, and we're just I don't remember that movie. I've seen it.
Nothing.
Yeah,
I don't think so. But I mean, they didn't even know like who put the. I mean, I'm assuming they put the picture frame up there. Like you don't just go to a house.
Like they lived there for a long time.
But even if they weren't, if they just moved in, no one leaves picture frames on the wall when you move to a new house. So like they had to have put that picture frame over the hole in the wall.
And they just never checked behind it. Hey, here's a hole. Let's just cover it. Let's not. It's kind of weird, but they find
because the hole in the wall is not going to be drafty. So let's just cover it with a picture frame.
That is true. They should have actually did something, patch it up. But then they smoked this questionable weed because it could be anything. It'd be like poisoned. And it probably wouldn't work if it was sitting for that long.
So if weed is sitting for say a year, is it still good?
Yeah.
Like
it would do something, but it would be super dried out.
I would say like it doesn't crumble. Like is it like so? Okay,
weed it would be like a tumbleweed. Like that was how old that was.
Well, that was my point. So like 1 week, a year, it's gonna still be a little crumbly, but you can still do it. That had to be there. Argument's sake, 10 years. At least like right.
At least, yeah.
It'd be like dust. I feel like it would be like dust, and not to mention probably filled with cobwebs and whatever else is gonna be in there,
bugs, whatever. Yeah,
asbestos. Ugh. It's in a hole in the wall. Like I mean,
okay. Maybe that's why they had that terrible hallucination because it was asbestos. And we get that man. You know who the worst character in this movie was? The girl with Mike Epps. I feel like if she heard this somehow, she haunts my dreams because she was like reciting her lines and she was saying it really delayed like a robot, and she had a weird haircut and like she was.
I was trying to figure out who she was. I didn't recognize her at all. Like she reminded me. I don't know. Like like even his character, I didn't like. It was just like I feel like he's so much better than that, and to put him in a role like that is like almost degrading. Like it's like all right, I need a check. Just throw me in this stupid. I'll act like an idiot, in his stupid movie just for a paycheck. Because there's no way he looked at this and he was like, you know what, this is a good role for me.
Yeah, you know what I wrote down? He was like he was the poor man's Pinky. Another reference to Next Friday. His Pinky was barely in the movie, but he was like ridiculous, and he had sort of the Pinky hair. He had like that weird. He had terrible hair.
Yeah, it's just stupid. It was, I don't know. All right, but this whole scene, I mean, how they get there, and all this stuff. It just so okay. But then here's my question. We find out later that everything's a hallucination. Nothing is real.
Oh
what
my
they
God.
do.
That was good because they remind me of Super Troopers. Not Super Troopers. Beer Fest. That's one of my favorite when they show the real scene is the hilarious.
Right. Okay, so you know what? If any scene that might have been the only scene that I thought was all right, it's a little creative, fun. But does that mean like they've never seen those guys like this? So
that's a great question.
They somehow had the same exact hallucination at the same exact time. Okay. Because
this movie nothing happened in this movie. This movie was not real.
No, they never left the couch. I mean, like it's ridiculous. Because I mean, they have the same hallucination in the beginning. They have the same hallucination when they think they have superpowers. Yet,
one is crazy because the girl Angela did not smoke weed with them. So
No.
why did she look at that situation like it was real
Correct.
and not? She kind of
Ed.
agreed.
I don't know. Again, it doesn't make sense. And then he's has a different hallucination at the end of the movie than he does. Like,
Yeah,
okay. All right. Nothing makes sense.
nothing makes sense. So
Okay.
then now they get a montage of them. They're starting to grow weed, and so he picks up that white kid from the beginning of the movie, which is so funny when you watch a movie like this. I thought it was the same white kid. So the same white kid from the first 2 times in the Uber, I thought it was the
100%.
same one that turned into like the kingpin.
I
No
did
spoiler.
too. I
Yeah.
and I didn't realize it until the next scene after that when they said that
When we
they
saw the
found-
other kid, when we saw the first kid
yeah,
again.
yeah. But I honestly, I agree with you. I thought because that would have made sense. Like, you know, like
Yeah.
he was a reject and like and then now he's because he was in college. So that they really like trick you without trying to trick you, I guess. You know, because I was on the same. I was aboard for that too.
And it made it like all the white people in this movie were bad. Every single white person. The Bones guy, the loan officer, the principal, the 2 white kids, because the one white kid started being a drug dealer, and then the other white kid ratted them out to the technology company.
They made them look nerdy. Every
Yeah.
white person in the movie is nerdy, and I mean, it just that, and they all needed help. And again, the principal. I mean, well, no, what the only I guess was he normal? Was the other teacher that was smoking in the classroom? Was he white?
Oh, he was pretty cool, yeah. But was that real? Was he really smoking weed in the classroom?
That's what I mean. Like I wonder
Yeah.
if this whole movie they never left the couch and everything happened.
Well, we know he did. No, we know they did leave the couch because we saw the real scene. Like when they thought they like threw the ball at the principal and they really just like rolled it and
That's
then
true.
ran
That's right.
around.
All right, you're right.
Yeah.
All right.
So they did do something, but maybe that guy was smoking weed, but that would make sense that he really wasn't because they were hallucinating that. I don't know.
Well, I also don't know if that's like if you're gonna sneak smoking weed, you're just gonna do it in your classroom by locking the door.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, and not only that, you're locking the one door, but you don't lock the other door. That obviously anyone could just walk into.
Yeah.
So all right. I mean, in high school, there were definitely. I mean, the science teachers are always looked like they were burners. I mean, you could tell. Like they just.
But
always
would you call them Bunsen burners?
Oh, boy.
So now we get another person I've heard of, but I looked him up because I'm like, the way they were showing him on the camera, like this guy's gotta be famous. But when they crash into the car, because the guy's like trying to cut in front of DC Young Fly, and then DC Young Fly just hits him, and it's a Little Baby, which I've heard the name. I wouldn't know any of the songs, but when the other 2 guys get out, they look like they're about to beat the shit out of him, and then all they do is just go, "Hey, smoke this weed." And they smoke it. He smokes it. The white henchman smokes it. Oh, maybe that's a good henchman in this movie. Yeah.
Okay. But this is a guy that clearly smokes a lot of weed.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure he has his own weed, and it's probably good weed. He just gets in a car accident. He's gonna smoke this guy's other weed when he has his own weed in the limo.
Yeah,
and it's again probably a much better weed. Like you're gonna smoke a stranger's. Like again, they look like 2 homeless guys, and
it could be anything.
Anything. Like I don't think he would even think about it because again, I'm sure that limo is filled with smoke. So the fact that he would do that is so dumb. But hey, he did it, and they got out of their fight.
They got out of he was about to get his ass beat by these 2 big dudes, and then they smoked it.
Okay, he the wannabe Chris Tucker, I forget his name, but he should have gotten his ass beat at multiple times in this movie.
Yeah,
I mean, first of all, he's a scrawny. I mean, scrawny as scrawny can be. With a mouth that just doesn't stop. Like he literally, that college scene. How did they not get him? Is beyond me.
Oh, dude, he was definitely because he does a lot of improv on Wild 'N Out. He was definitely improvising the way he was making fun of each of those guys that were extras with no lines. That was fucked up. That was really funny. One of them, I forgot what he called the one guy, but even like Little Yaki like started like he kind of like broke and was laughing. But do you remember Little Baby was floating from this weed? Maybe that's why it was that good. Was he really floating, or was that not real?
Again, Why would he be floating if everything else is not real? So like, did they even see what they should have done is almost doing like a fast forward, like through all the scenes and show like how like it probably wasn't little baby. It was probably like an older couple, an old grandma and grandpa that they hit and they gave them
that'd
weed.
be funny.
Like if they did like a little flashback to each scene and showed like everything they thought they saw was nothing.
I would love
and it was
that.
complete. Yeah, complete. See, now maybe that would have made the movie better. All right, it's fine. Now we could see what was going on. But no, the fact that like little baby's floating, but we know that the weed doesn't do any of that stuff, but they're not explaining on some of the scenes when it happens.
They're not, because even the next scene that I was about to talk about was the high clown. So she thinks she's doing her job great, even though her imagination of it wasn't anything crazy. But the barbecue guy, he finally smokes, and then he's like cooking faster, I guess, because it seemed like his line was really long, and then he was able to cut faster, and he was just throwing the food to people and not even collecting money. He was just letting them take it.
Okay. And his location looked like he was like in those
Under a bridge.
I was gonna say where you see like abandoned cars. Like that's where his location was, and there was a long line. And
that was like where they find dead bodies to open up Law and Order.
And that's where you'll see a lot of graffiti, gangs hanging out, like
needles.
It's like a rusted barbecue on the back of his truck. Like, this is where people are lining up. Like, where are these people? Are they all homeless people that are getting like free, like is he serving homeless people, or like are these business people that are just loving his burgers? Like in their meeting over there, like the location was awful.
His hallucination, like real scene, would be funny if it was just a homeless guy like giving other homeless people like pieces of like dirt.
Absolutely right. See, again, now the movie's getting funnier, and like, so if you could take all these scenes, even like the college scene with the frat, it would be funny if you went to like a middle school and it wasn't a college, and he's like trying to sell, he's something like that was completely opposite of everything that happened in the movie. Now the movie might be a little bit more funnier,
Yeah.
So okay,
but DC Youngfly did have a good rule of life. He had like a few of them. But the last one he said, like the first one was like sort of serious, then silly, then really silly. But I kind of like it. He said, never buy never buy a cup, or always buy a cup to a place that offers free refills. I really like that.
Oh, okay.
You just reuse it every time.
I'll remember that one.
So he has a whole thing, because little Yaki looked at him like crazy, and he gave like this look back. His trunk probably has every place that he can do. I did that when we worked at True Green. I did that. I would save a couple of them. If they got really gross, and you couldn't. Yeah, always.
I don't know if he's the one that said this line, but I thought you were gonna say that the weed smells like angel farts, because that was one of the lines.
Really?
That was used. It smells like angel farts. And I don't know, again, is that supposed to be a good thing? Because farts, there's not one fart that smells good. So I don't care if it's an angel fart or not, but no farts smell good. So like, to me, that doesn't sound too appetizing.
That'd be really weird if a fart smelled good.
Well, if the fart smells good, more people would do it without even question. Now all you'll hear is the noise and just Wait,
could you imagine that?
Wait,
it was
wait, that's what your farts sound like?
I was thinking like it'd be like people like when they squeeze them out to the side, not like a full like rip.
Oh,
like a little slip out. But judge if that was, what was that? It was in South Park, right? And they were like, oh, you have to fart. Yeah, if you hold your farts in, you'll explode. The one with Kenny spontaneously combusted, but then everybody was farting, and it was like hurting the ozone layer. But like everybody was just in conversation, like, "Hey, you doing?" It was just farting over.
Oh man, the farts always win.
Farts. Farts always win. Oh my, that's Emerson's favorite thing.
First of all, not everybody holds their farts.
Not everybody. Yeah, but I'm saying a lot of people. Does everybody fart? Does like
everybody farts? There's
like the most
don't care.
esteemed businessman like walk around all day serious, and then when he gets home, he's just like, oh.
Okay. I would say most women hold it in as long as possible, and then when their husbands or boyfriends are not around, then they let it out.
When
But
they rip it?
I would think that everybody farts. They have to. They have to.
I think you have to.
Okay.
It's gotta come out.
I
Gotta
bet you
come out
more
somehow.
people. I bet you there's more people that don't burp than there
Ooh.
are people that don't fart. Like I feel like a burp. I think a fart everybody does, but a burp is just not everybody does a burp. I think it's
not
less
everybody burps.
common. Yeah. Okay.
No, agreed.
Okay.
Agreed. I like that. They get sidetracked. Farts and if they smell or not. Angel farts. Ugh. But then we see him selling to everybody. Like we mentioned the one earlier that was like the black Andy Cohen with the White House.
Clown,
He
the
sells
clown
him as
reminded me of the clown from Billy Madison. Was it Billy Madison?
Oh yeah.
The clown, like just the way her attitude was, and it was a female, right? So it was the way
Yeah,
the
yeah, she was funny.
attitude was. She was funnier after, and then but she reminded me of like just the clown that was just like grump. You know, it's funny. Speaking of clowns, there's a movie that I saw years ago, and I actually added it to my list called Shakes the Clown. I think it's with either Bill Murray or Bobcat Goldthwait. Or something. You never heard of Shakes the Clown?
I watched Quick Change the other night.
Oh,
Bill Murray.
That's Bill Murray, right? Is that Bill Murray?
That's Bill Murray. Yeah.
Okay, so Shakes the Clown is I think Bobcat Goldthwait. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I got to catch up to my clown movies.
Yeah. Top 10 clown movies.
Killer
Number
Clown from Outer
10.
Space.
Yeah, that's up there.
That needed a sequel.
Is would you count Uncle Buck as a clown movie?
What? Because it's a clown for 2 seconds?
Yeah, I love that scene. And that's that one guy who's in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
He's in Dumb and Dumber. But
Yeah.
There's this bachelorette party. Great. Whacks him in the face. So this is where we get the craziest scene. Like DC Young Fly did a crazy thing. He slept with the principal's wife and was banging her. And
well,
then,
first of all, the principal looks like he could be there like a little older than them. Like he doesn't look
oh
that.
yeah, no, he's young.
Yeah. So how old was he when they were in high school?
Maybe only a few years older, but no, I guess he couldn't be because he was the principal of the school.
That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't like he seemed too young for this to happen because if they're in their 30s, this happened 10 years ago. How old was the principal that he was still principal? 23?
Yeah. And the wife looked young. In that flashback, she looked pretty young. And just the fact that he goes in there and he like plays that over it. And then we get the first time we get like these super weed powers.
Okay. So the principal did nothing for 10 years, knowing that this kid, like he's angry now because they're at the school and he's going after them. Why hasn't he gone after him for these 10 years that he knew once he found out?
He never ran into him in town.
It seems like it's a very small town because they get around very easily everywhere.
They do.
So, so it's happened, say, let's say 10 years ago when he, the principal did absolutely nothing. But the minute he knows he's in the area, now he's angry.
Yeah.
What's his life been like? If he's still holding that anger for 10 years, like what's his life been like?
Is it maybe his wife? Well, he left his wife, or I don't know.
Did he?
We didn't get anything with that.
Yeah.
He didn't mention a line. I don't remember a line saying that. Or how's your wife doing or anything? Maybe he did say that because he said something to really piss him off. So maybe he did say that.
I mean, not for nothing. Like, why is he afraid of him too? I mean, he is scrawny, but then there's two of them. I mean, like, all right.
And they're there just to sell weed, like during school.
And none of the teachers noticed that these two grown-ups are walking around the school.
That's a big problem.
And getting into any area possible. Like they're just walking around. No one is noticing. Students aren't like questioning.
Flag.
And look how they're dressed.
Should be only one entrance into the school. All the other doors are locked.
And again, it's not like they're even dressed nice. Like they just look like they're ready for trouble.
Yeah, trash.
But
they
then again,
like homeless people.
They do. And then you have this teacher who's also smoking in this classroom, like we said before. So I guess they really don't have much security going on at school.
Oh yeah, and he had the door open, right?
Well, no, he had the one door locked because they tried to go in there. So they went to the other classroom, which Are there a lot of classrooms that have doors that are connected like that?
Some schools in the shops, they used to have that, like the interconnecting
Yeah, but that was
doors.
a classroom. Yeah, but he went into a classroom. That wasn't a shop.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know why they even have that. What would be the point of having a door between two
And
places?
that's the best place for him to hide smoking. Like he couldn't go to the boiler room or something. Like somewhere like where no one's gonna be.
The boiler room. I love that. Where the janitor sleeps. Oh my god.
Yeah, you don't wait. I bet you if you go to like any high school and you like take a tour of the boiler rooms where the janitors, you're gonna see like a table with cards and like probably like alcohol.
1989
you're gonna
Playboy
see,
centerfold on the wall.
You're gonna see a lot of crap down there that they spend a lot of their time with, because you never see the janitor unless there's like puke in the hallway. Then you see and that sawdust that they put on there on the when someone pukes. Like, what is that stuff?
Well,
like every school
in my
does
school,
that.
they use like kitty litter. They use like this weird kitty litter. It was like
it was something like a sawdust, a kitty litter, or whatever. Like it was the same stuff that you use at every high school. That almost made it smell even worse because you smell that as in the hallway. It's like but like
it was so dumb. All it did was soak up the moisture. Right? They can't just like soup it up and mop it. Like
no, they let it linger there.
So.
And they let it linger there, so it starts going to all the classrooms. You smell it every time you walk by. All the kids are holding their nose, and then you don't see the janitor until the next person pukes. Like, what do janitors do in high school outside of cleaning up? When someone throws up,
they just, I think, hang out until the end of the day, and then they clean out garbage cans and stuff. It's a pretty good gig. I think they make pretty good money. Like it's like one of those jobs.
But I just don't know what they do. And I remember in school there was like almost daily someone would be throwing up at some point. Like it was just something that happened to
daily.
So where are these kids today? Like, are they on the job and like they're throwing up in their meetings? and then they have the office janitor come in, throw the powder on there. Like, are they still doing that? Like, I don't know.
God, I would love that. That'd be a great SNL sketch of having a kid that got sick and always like had something happen, and like he's an adult and he's running a meeting and then he vomits and he's like, tummy ache, I gotta go lay down.
Because listen, and let's be honest, it was always the same kids that threw up. Like it was always the same kids. So I just wonder if like they have an issue, so as they become adult, they're still having an issue. They have to run out of every supermarket and whatever. All right. So far we had 2 segues about farts and throwing up. All right.
Farts and throwing up. I like it.
Yeah. Okay.
So the principal's ready to murder him. They had superpowers. They somehow flew, which is so stupid. But then we cut to like the most random thing. Like I think this movie is really bad, but I think even just the idea of the script, like not even just the dialogue. I mean, like just the point of the movie is really dumb. The fact that this company like Biokinetic or something, they want to take all of the herb weed and they want to take it all from everywhere around, buy it all up, get rid of it, just to sell like vape pens, which like that was the big thing.
That's the big enemy.
A vape pen that makes weird stuff happen to you. Not something that just gets you addicted like cigarettes, something that makes you like absolutely insane.
Well, what else did this company do? Did they talk about any other products they made, or this is
we saw nothing because we saw DC Young Fly take that video of that girl that looks so familiar. I don't know if she was like, maybe she was on a show or something. The first girl that he recorded that was like crazy in the window. But yeah, what were the kids touring there? So they pretended to be chaperones for a high school. Yeah.
And no one so the real chaperones didn't notice that these two are hanging around these young kids.
Yes.
And let me tell you, the kids are kind of young for a tour that looked extremely boring. Like
very boring.
Like why would you want, like, what are they supposed to learn there? You're bringing them to a place that's making cigarettes or, like vapes. That's the knowledge you're bringing to the kids. Like that's the education that you're bringing them to a tour. It's like, I mean, again, here's a tour of like, Kodiak, Let's take a tour of how they make, a dip.
Oh, Kodiak dip.
Let's take a tour on that. How they make.
Everybody, grab a pouch.
This is how they grind it down, and it just why is there a tour there?
Speaking of throwing up, the first time I did dip,
when that might be the worst sickness is dip sickness. Without a dip, you can't move. My first time I dipped, I had I was down the shore. We're in a hotel, for probably a prom weekend or something, and I threw a little dip in, and I was like, this is nothing. So I took a Lenny Dykstra thing, threw it in there.
Oh my God.
Within seconds, I'm sitting in the bedroom with the air conditioner blowing on me. I couldn't move. It is the worst. Oh
yeah.
Meanwhile, in college, I would pour rum in my dip and soak it. So I would have a dip filled with liquor.
I did dip 2 times, both times. I remember that happened. One time was the double whammy. Another tangent we're going off on. I was in a hot tub drinking, and then I did the dip while I was in the hot tub. So it was the combination of the heat, the beer, and the dip. All I remember is getting out, and oh man, I just laid on the ground. Didn't throw up or anything. Just it was the weirdest feeling. How
you can't move, you can't lift your
body. Your
feels
whole
heavy.
body.
It does. Yeah. You can't lift your body. It's almost like you're weighted down, and if you try to stand up, you can't. Yeah, it's awful. But anyway, so imagine taking a tour,
throw up,
and
then the
dip.
throw up made me think of dip. Yeah.
So again, so you have 2 adults that again look homeless that are following these kids. Not even so. Even the workers that are on the tour, they don't see anything wrong with this picture. Of why are these 2 guys here? And she just met him in the streets, coming out of a bank. Not coming out of a bank, being thrown out of a bank. And now she's supposed to believe that he's a tour guide for these kids, a chaperone. And why would he be a chaperone? He doesn't have any kids.
Yeah, and not that. Why would she vouch for him again? She
doesn't know him.
He
doesn't know him for 10 years. I know. She only knew him in high school. She just met him 2 seconds ago. You don't know. He could be a drug dealer, which he is. You're going to vouch for someone you just met after 10 years?
Yeah.
That looks like homeless and looked like a committed drug dealer? Poor decisions.
I can tell you that is sometimes movie dialogue is written so bad. It's you're writing a story for a teacher to grade, or you're trying to think how should this really sound? But I don't think I would ever see someone and be like, "Hi, Jessica, it's Doug from high school." I don't know if it sounds it just sounds so corny, like a robot.
It sounds like you're talking to someone with dementia. And you're trying to have them remember who you were,
Grandpa,
and again, you're not talking.
Remember me?
You're not talking about a 40-year, school reunion. You're talking about only about 10 years. You're going to change that much. You're not going to recognize, it just. And I get it. I went to my 10-year reunion. I forgot some name. No, it was 15. Forgot some names. Well,
you probably forgot their names after, during high school.
Yeah, that's true. But you're gonna remember their faces. You don't have to the minute someone says hi. I don't know. But regardless, again, a chaperone for a school trip is always a parent or a teacher, which these 2 are neither.
Neither, yeah. They're just these creeps that are walking around at this place that kids aren't learning because I don't even the vape thing's public yet. So they're not even there. No. They're not probably there for that. So we don't know what they're doing. It's basically just a research lab. Does she know what her job is?
I don't know. They don't, but also I don't think I saw any teachers. I don't think I saw any chaperones on this trip besides those 2 guys.
That's all we saw. There was nothing. And even she kind of believes them, right? And I now wrote down her name's Alicia. Is her name Angela or Alicia?
Wait a second. Was this when they were on the back of the bus? Is that how they got there? Yes. They were hiding from the principal.
Oh, that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they were on the back of the bus, somehow held on the entire bus ride. The bus driver didn't notice that they were in the back of the window. You have 2 guys hanging on there. So, and the bus driver just lets them out. So if they weren't there, the bus driver the school is letting these kids out and then meeting whoever the tour guide is, and that's it. There wasn't another chaperone except those two guys.
Yeah, it seems so. And he left them. So she actually bought that because later she's not like playing like coy or anything. She goes, "Oh, why aren't you with the kids?" It's, they're just like, it's like, wait, you still believe this?
And it didn't, and she didn't question the fact that he's not with the kids. Like,
no,
even though she did ask him, that she was like, okay, like whatever excuse he gave, she was fine with it.
Yeah. And then he lied and said, "Oh yeah, they're over there." And she's like, "No, it's the other way." And then that's when what's his name's disappeared. And then he somehow convinces her to smoke after they meet Mary Lynn, which is a really weird scene.
But she said no. Didn't she say earlier in the movie? She said no.
She said no.
I don't do that. She said I don't do that.
Yeah. And then she finally did. And now this is where she mentions, like, I would like to go to a strip club. She brought that up out of nowhere.
I know she did. And how random is that? And
so random.
She was having more fun than anyone there. She was having a blast.
Yeah.
So like, and they were all. It wasn't like it would have been funny if she goes, "Yeah, let's go to a strip bar," and they get excited and they go to a male strip bar. See, that would have been funny.
That'd be funny.
You know, just okay. But the fact that she was having so much fun, does she play for the other team?
Oh, I think so.
So then why is she into? Yeah, but she seemed very into the other guy. So, all right. And I honestly, like, that seemed like a little higher end strip bar. I don't think they would let the other two guys in. Okay, they wouldn't let the other two guys in.
Dressing homeless. Yeah, you're right. No, it was very fancy. And then even like the one like Russian woman says, "I want her. You are classy hot." That was the line they said about Angela Alicia. Now I have both of them written down, so I'll just say both. But and then this is like the funny thing about the flashback was they were fluently speaking Russian because they were high on this weed and they thought it was like a real conversation.
Did they show a flashback for that scene?
They did, yeah. And they were just mumbling and drooling.
Yeah. All right, you're right. Okay. All right.
And
at least they showed that one.
Yeah, no, that was good. How about the fact that in order from there, somehow it gets to the point that the only way they can leave is she has to dance really good on stage. Like that was somehow an element in this movie.
And she plays herself as a classy person, dressing classy, and she has no problem doing it and acting as if she's done it before.
And what does she do? She's badass. She shows how badass she is.
John Wick's there.
In a second. I was not expecting that at all.
Okay. So this is Russian gangsters. Like and her plan is to drop kick them like as she's dancing. Like okay, again, I don't know what her background is. I don't know if it's in martial arts or anything, but I mean, these are Russian gangsters. Her kick is going to be that hard to knock them out that that's a plan. I mean, it worked. But I'm just like, that's a pretty risky plan because, if it doesn't work, you're probably dead. They're going to kill you right there. So, all right.
Did you imagine that she goes for it, she whiffs, and she's like, I'm dead now. I have my one shot.
But they keep relying on that because they keep asking her to beat up people.
The next one was good when it was the two girls from the first scene of the movie. When they were like, she took take the earring off, she takes her wig off.
Yeah,
my God.
That
was awesome.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting that. I thought that was her hair. Wait, you knew that was a wig?
No, I didn't know it was a wig.
Oh,
no.
Right, okay. So so now that makes you think, did she really do karate there? Or
exactly, I don't know. Did that happen? Because she was high too. Like, I don't know.
See, it would have been funny if was real. They showed like a clip of her like kicking and like the guy like barely like hitting them like the guys are going like this. Like it's like she's barely like she thinks she's doing some like John Wick stuff and it was like very like barely tapping them. Like
nothing.
I don't know. Like they really should give an explanation of all these scenes because you just don't unless that's their plan. Like you know what? Let's have these scenes, and you don't know if it's real or not. Let's leave it up to the audience.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was really funny. But no, it's just crazy how I was not like, if anything to expect, it was not that she was going to be like this badass. People are going to be scared of. And then this is when they find out where to go. Because at this point, their weed's already stolen, right?
Well,
Did that happen
that's the whole
already?
point. Yes, that's the whole point.
That's why they went to the genetics
Correct.
place, right? Okay.
No, they went to the biogenics place because they were on the bus.
Oh
They
yeah,
didn't know it was going
they
there.
just happened to be there. But
they were
when did they find
they
out
went
their
to the
weed
high
was
school
stolen?
before the high school. That's why they went to the high school, because they heard that someone is selling it in high school.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay,
Right. So they were
Gotcha.
they're on this tracking thing. So
I forgot the exact point of when they went home and figured out that I was lost.
But see, now, are they looking for the weed or the book? Because they both were stolen. And
I think they're looking for both. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think the Bible
by
is
the
more
way,
important because they get the recipe.
we didn't discuss this, but when they found the book and they realized how to make super weed, how much time had passed
Oh,
for them
that's true.
to make the super weed that I'm assuming you need certain things that they didn't normally have. So
Mhm.
you don't see them leave the house. So they stay in the basement. So they had everything they needed for the super weed there. How much time? Like, was it like a couple minutes?
Man, that takes
like a
it
week?
takes a long time for it to grow.
Right, but somehow it grew right away. Okay. I'm gonna say we kind of went over that.
Super magic weed. Yeah, it made it seem like they found it and they were in the money in seconds. Like within the next day, they were selling it.
It was a montage, right? So it should have been like
Yeah.
a montage of them, but it seemed like they literally made it in like seconds, having everything they needed in that basement, which looked like the basement looked like a dungeon almost. Like it was just really like,
yeah,
it looked like
it was gross. And they
super,
both lived down there,
Yeah.
which is really
Yeah,
even grosser. It was
All
one
right.
couch.
But anyway, we kind of went over that and passed it, and we didn't
That's
even talk
good.
about it. Yeah,
I didn't even think about that. No montage, no time lapse of a calendar or like a clock like spinning. No, you're right.
No, and,
So
and,
now
and
they have
not
to-
even talking about like what's in there that's making a special weed. Like we need Eye of Newt or something to throw in there.
Yeah.
But nothing. Okay. All right. Anyway.
That'd be good. Eye of Newt, like like a witch's recipe. That would be
Yeah, like
pretty
a cold, well, they should have had some kind of cauldron mixing this super weed. All right.
No, it was just super simple. It was like looking at like IKEA directions, and that was it.
It really was.
Like very simple, like pictures. They were like line drawings, and it's like, oh, okay,
I think there were pictures in there, right?
There was,
were- I
yeah,
think
it
there
was
were,
like a line
They
drawing.
were like sketches, but like, what would the sketches be of? Hey, this is how you stir
A
it.
pot,
Like
a dirt,
but I mean,
Water.
What I would assume, like, if you're gonna grow something, you don't really need the sketches. Like, this is how you plant it. This is how you stir it. This is how no, you just need like directions. Right, first pour this in, pour this in, pour this in. No, there were sketches of like I would be curious to go back and see what were the sketches really of. Like, pause it and say like, can you imagine because it kind of went by fast. But the sketches just were like I said, maybe just something stupid had nothing to do with it, but they threw it in there to see if anyone would notice.
yeah.
All right.
So then they find out from the girls like where people are selling weed. So they go to like the fraternity, and DC Young Fly lies about it, that he was like a former, like a brother, like a former member.
Okay, but before that, the girl said, "There's no way you're going to get into that party."
Yeah,
They literally open the front door and walk right in.
I know.
There was no one blocking them. There
No
was no one at the front
resistance.
door. Nothing. They literally walked right in. I mean, and the girls like laughed in their faces, like, "You're never going to get in." They, only this, and no problem. Like there was nothing. Okay.
Yeah, no resistance at all. Not good security for a party that she thought was so exclusive. It seemed like they walked
And
in and made fun of everyone there.
And no one notices they're like 10 years older than them. Like they're older. They're like, they're not.
Well,
like,
they said they were a former brother, like visit or something like that, right? Maybe they said from another chapter. I forgot.
Yeah. They said they were from another chapter from another school.
Yeah.
So okay. All right.
Oh my gosh. So then he has to try a backflip, right? Wasn't that the whole thing? That was
first,
part of the...
no. First, they had to do the step dance, I guess.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
you
He
know,
was really bad, and he was like very delayed
Yeah.
on it, right?
yeah. So they did, which they didn't notice right away. Like, couldn't he have said, well, no, he kept saying, didn't he say something like he has asthma or something? Or he kept trying to make excuses why he can't. He said something, I forget what he said, why he can't do it. And then they did. Now, can everyone in the fraternity do a flip?
Because
they were forcing
That's the only way you get in.
him to do it, basically. So everybody has to be able to do a flip. Okay. And he did it. I mean, he landed it almost.
He did. Yeah, no, he did pretty good.
Except did the bookcase fall on top of him?
The
ashes. The ashes.
Yeah, the bookshelf fell, and then how crazy is that? Out of all the things we mentioned, that it's all like fraternity brothers that have no family that leave their that's what it was.
I thought it was the founding members or something like that. The founding.
I don't care. Founding members, anyone. It's not with their family. It's in the fraternity.
Yeah, that is true. I didn't even think about that.
Here lies douche nozzle.
Well, wait, is that what they said? Douche nozzle?
No, I'm just making up. I don't think somebody in that fraternity is called douche nozzle. I'm just saying if they had like their frat name.
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, then that's why his family didn't want douche nozzle at their house.
Yeah.
So, wait, of all the names you come up with douche nozzle, that just came in your head randomly.
Yeah.
Douche nozzle. That's actually a good name.
That's a good one.
That's for like if you have like a lineup of like pledges, and because it's every I'm in a fraternity, and usually like you have like you have your best pledge who's good at everything, and then you always have the one that everybody has to carry, and like he's like
Flounder?
the worst at everything, like Flounder. I was gonna say Flounder. Like Flounder would be called douche, nozzle. Flounder.
Maybe I'll watch that tonight. The best out of Flounder is funny when he says that, but when he says, "You're from now on, your Phi Delta name will be Pinto," and he goes, "Why Pinto?" And he's like real drunk. Why not?
Oh, you know what? If I want outside of the speech that he has, which is amazing, he barely speaks in the movie. Like he doesn't. He
smashes the guitar. He says no words.
Yeah. Why not? And he says it with like with a drunk like yell, like why not?
Such a funny movie. The best ever animal house. So then they finally make it up. And I do love when they're going upstairs and they're opening the random doors.
Oh my god!
And the one was like two redhead girls like going at it, and then the other one was furries. There was two different ones. There were two different doors they opened.
No, I know, but I mean, like, so like, what kind of fraternity is this? They have furries, or is that just like okay? So
or is that them hallucinating? And they were opening the bathroom door and there was nobody there.
No, unfortunately, furries are real. So I'm going to say it. But so I don't know the furry life, and if we have any furries that are listening, but like, do they walk into the party like that, or do they put it on before they have like sex and they put on the costumes?
I think you have to walk in with it, right?
So are you?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Well, what do? Well, you have to make sure you bring your. How does that come up in conversation if you don't wear it there? You'd be like, "Hey, what are you into?" And it's like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna go get my outfit." You can get your outfit.
Well,
bring
wait.
it just in case.
So, wait. So you think that one furry just happened to meet another furry there? You don't think it was planned? Like they met before the party? You just think so. The fact that there's only two furries because you only walk in one room and there's only two people. You think they just happened to run into each other? You don't think they went to like they went to Furries Online? As a dating site.
Furriesonline.com. That was a very specific name you came up with.
I might have been dabbling before I got married, as a furry.
There's some bizarre things in this world. That, to me, is the most bizarre.
And you know what? Unfortunately, it's going into schools. Like I knew someone that their kid was in 8th grade, and there's a girl in the class that meows. So when they call her name, she meows, and the teacher just goes along with it. She's a cat.
Wow.
So like they've taken furries to a whole different level. Like, so furries is a real thing,
something.
you know. But yeah, but my question is though, again, like, how does a furry work? Like, are you always in character? Like, do you speak? Like, you know, like, do you ever, like, if two furries like dating each other, do you ever see what they look like underneath the furry?
That'd be great. They never know until the day they're like, yeah, I don't want a furry anymore. And it's like, you know, me too. And they take it out. It's like, yeesh, okay. Well, I'm gonna.
And
move
they realize
out
they're
now.
the same sex.
Oh, that'd be really funny.
Or they realize like it's like Uncle Bob. Like they don't realize that.
But yeah, that whole thing is just.
It's a different world. It's a whole different world. Huh.
But yeah, do they really see that?
I don't know. I would like, you know what? I bet you there's a furry documentary out there that will explain the furry life.
Oh, there has to be, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Or a reality show. I'm sure there's something.
Well, there was a reality show about dating where you had to wear like an alien mask.
Oh, I saw that one. It was good. I watched it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The special effect. No, it was a guy.
Yeah, but did they ever see each other? Did they ever see each other?
Oh yeah, when they went on dates. Yeah. When they went on their date. But it was wild how great the special effects were. And they did that all within. Yeah. So is the first half of the date with them wearing the alien masks? No, the full date is that, and then they have to pick one.
So they go to a restaurant wearing the alien masks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
Okay. I'm not watching.
You watch one.
No, I won't.
It's the makeup and stuff is insane.
That's fantastic. I'll watch like, you know, other makeup artist shows. I'm not watching two alien masks go on a date in a restaurant.
Oh man.
Okay.
So then they go to see the white guy, and so this was it makes no sense about the scene. So when while they're going to find him, they need to feel like they need to get high. And they like walk around and they find like the roaches while all the other guys are smoking the actual ashes of the dead former fraternity members. They get really stoned. They walked in, and this was like the superpower one that was like really ridiculous and really funny in the flashback. When the guy walks over to hand them the manila folder, when they think it's the Wee Bible, and it's not even, it doesn't even look like it. That's the funniest part of it.
Yeah. But he used the Force. Somehow we give him the Force.
I love the guy walking it over in the flashback when he's like, what should I do? And he's just like, oh, I was going to walk it over. And then even she was excited about it too. I know she was stoned, but she didn't smoke this time. So maybe that's why I thought like, okay, why is she kind of fall? Because she looked amazed too, like it was amazing.
Yeah, but this happened right after the strip bar, right?
Yeah.
So she's probably still high. I mean,
she probably is still high. Yeah.
And again, this movie takes place like in a matter of like 3 hours. like you know, all this happens pretty quick. Like, because they literally like
the day he meets her, right? He gets fired. You
never see nighttime, so it's day even at the end of the
only
movie.
We only see nighttime when they confront Mary Lynn, when they get her on camera.
Correct. Well,
admitting like her plot. Okay. Yeah, that was
right, you're right.
That was that night. So the final scene of the movie is the next. Well, not the final scene, but when they ambush her at her TED Talk thing.
I got you. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So this is when we find out the whole thing of this movie. Like right now is like, so Big Bang, he did actually steal all the weed. And then we find out the tech lab bought all the weed and they want to make smart weed because Mary Lynn gives up the whole thing. But how do they find out that all the weed was there? Oh, Big Bang says it. Big Bang said, oh, I sold to this place, Biogenics. Yeah.
He's the only one that has weed? He's the only one in this town.
No, he's not the only one. No. He's not the only one. She admits she bought it from him and everyone around. So she basically cleaned up everyone in order to be like the only
so she knows
way to get
every
weed.
drug dealer in town. She works for like a multi-billion-dollar company, and she somehow knows every drug dealer in town to buy all their weed
in a day. Her plan
first of all,
started within a day, it seemed.
Oh yeah, with that, but and are like the drug dealers now all out of business, or are they just going to continue to grow and then sell it to her? Like, what's the game plan? Because I don't see those guys stopping.
Because that's so funny. It's not like they took all their plants,
right,
or ruined their crops. Yeah,
right,
you know what?
Right.
That's so true.
So and even if I'm a drug dealer that sells, fine, you sold it. I'm still going to grow more on the side. I'm not going to just listen to you and just I feel like her plan would not work.
Yeah, unless her only part of her plan that she thought could be like because the weed is obviously that addictive. We see what happens to the people. So she's just hoping all the people that smoke her weed before they get other weed from somebody.
Okay. I'm assuming that people that enjoy smoking weed are not going to just stop and just start trying a vape. I don't care what it's supposed to do. They may do it with, the weed, but people that enjoy smoking weed are going to continue to smoke weed. So I think there's a lot of holes in her plan, and I don't think her plan would work.
That's a big hole.
That is a very big hole. So
the fact that it's not like a product that's like a microchip or all the data of something that's on one card. It's a plant that somebody can regrow.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like somebody going to your house and ripping all the apples off the apple tree. It's like, okay, there'll be apples next year. It's not like I'm never going to have apples again. So yeah, her plan was pretty dumb, but she got filmed. So she kind of ruined it for herself. Like the bad guy always has to reveal the plan. So when they finally, next day.
So we see that in every movie. Why do you think they do that? Do you think they just because they want it, like they're trying to be cocky about it and like, here's my plan? Because I've never seen a movie where the bad guy reveals the plan and then the plan's not foiled. There's never, I want to see that movie where he reveals the plan and the plan actually works and the good guy can't stop it because the plan is so good, but it never happens that way. So why do you think they do it? Just bragging?
I think because maybe some of them are so alone and they want to tell someone that secret. So sometimes it's the other bad guy. But we've seen in some cases where it's so dumb when they reveal it, because it's like, this is going to happen in 5 seconds or in 1 minute, but I'm going to tell you about it right now, and then we'll wait 1 minute before I execute this plan.
Or they'll say, yeah, this is going to happen down on Parker Street, in 10 minutes. So you know exactly where to go. But it always seems they always tell the person or the people that are the only people that will be able to stop your plan. Yeah. But they're not telling the old lady at the supermarket. They're telling the only antagonist they have in the movie. That's the person they're going to tell their plan to, because that's the person that's going to be able to stop it.
That'd be good, like a superhero spoof movie. You have the villain saying, I gotta tell somebody. He tells an old lady. Then within seconds, like once the villain leaves, she beep, 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 Batman? There was this really weird guy with makeup on. And he just told me he's gonna blow up the Citibank. It's all right, thank you.
Weird guy with makeup. Are you thinking the Joker?
Joker, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was a little confused at first. All right.
So he reveals, Big Bang reveals, hey, this is who sold all the weed. They confront Mary Lynn. This is when we find out Mary Lynn's banging not like a obese woman that can't move or a bedridden woman, is Nene Leakes. And so then what they're going to do is try to convince Angela, Alicia, hey, can you help us? And then she finally makes a great decision and says she's not going to help him, which is like the smartest part of this whole movie. But in a way, it helps her out in the end, but she still, in the end, trusted this random guy. Even
But-
though he was right,
okay.
it was very outlandish for that to be the truth.
Okay, but however, she probably should have been fired the minute she went back
for
to
letting
work because
strangers. Yeah.
no, well, besides that, she left during lunch for her lunch, and she hasn't gotten back until 5 hours later.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so she had a full day away from work without even telling work she was leaving, and then she just shows up the next day. So I mean, that's another little plot hole there. She should have been fired. Like, just saying.
You're right. You're right. And then once she wouldn't help, then they get all depressed and they sit down. And this, like, after they confront Mary Lynn. So the Mary Lynn, when they confront her, is after they meet with Alicia again because she's choosing her
Is this
job
when
over
she had beads in her hair?
No, she took them out. This is when she doesn't have
Okay.
beads anymore. She had beads the first time, and then she was very
Okay, you're right.
Then her
You're right.
hair was
Okay.
like
Yeah,
straight.
okay.
Yeah. So they go there, and this is when Mike Epps and
Oh, show up.
the blonde angry lady are back, and this is when they say none of that ever happened. You haven't seen any of that, and I'm like, oh my god.
You know what? It was almost like I'm trying to compare it to a movie that I forget what movie it might have been. That it was like he was training for like a fighting movie or something, and he said you didn't need. You didn't need. There was no special power. You thought, it might have been American Ninja. No, it was American Ninja. It was like one of these movies where he thought whatever he was taking was giving him special strength, and then he finds out that I just gave you a tablet. It was nothing. It was you the whole time. You had it inside you. And so I forget what it reminded me of that, and I can't think of that movie right now. Ugh.
What do you think about
I
it?
know
Let
what
me
it
know.
was. Oh, it was The Last Dragon.
Oh, okay.
Right? He was looking for something, and he said it was in there the whole time. He was looking for you were the master the whole time. You don't remember them?
Okay, yeah, that's a trope I've seen. I'm trying to think of another one, but
It was The Last Dragon.
But the fact that this was like all hallucination, and then they're like,
Yeah.
oh, now we have to get the gang back together. Which
Okay, wait a
again,
second.
this was
Wait, before they do that, so he's telling them none of that happened. It's all an hallucination. Wouldn't he be an hallucination?
I think he does say that.
Oh, that I'm not really here.
Yeah.
Yet they both can see him.
They can both see them, but when he says I'm not really here, they do like a wide shot, and they're looking at nothing.
But how are they having the same exact vision?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's very odd to see two people hallucinate the same people.
Okay. I know that I think you have dabbled in weed. I know you have, but so
I've read
have you
about it.
ever smoked with someone and like somehow you guys had the same vision?
No, you don't get like that. Like, yeah, even like mushrooms and stuff. Even if you do it with a bunch of people, you're not going to be seeing the same stuff or
Of course not.
hallucinating the same way. Yeah. No, it's just bizarre that they see the same. But then from here, that I do love when movies do that, and I thought it was funny to cast the characters that because they're reaching out to their old customers. I love all of them are like, oh man, my weed guy's in trouble. Like the guy with the smoker, the barbecue guy, drives off while people are waiting in that long line. I bet they filmed those two scenes in the same day because they're literally all the same people in the line.
Absolutely.
I love that he books the clown leaves the birthday party, and the other guy with the Real Housewives just upset. He's like, "Oh shit, I gotta leave. My weed dealers are in trouble." They bought from them one day,
One time,
day.
right? One time. And what are they thinking they're gonna do? I mean, clearly
Exactly.
we know
Yeah.
the MacGyver that they put together, which is ridiculous. But
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was
like,
ridiculous.
I mean, they barely knew them. They bought from them one time, and these are the guys that they have to go. How'd they find out? Did they call them? Or did
He texted
how'd
all
they
of
know
them.
that? When did they get their cell phones? They showed up in person to them all.
I know. I know. You know what? Because even he texts the first time. So I think they didn't mention it too much. They did sell weed before, and then maybe they didn't do it for a while, because it was very silly that they had like clientele that they were going to visit. Yeah, that was another thing.
But these were new people. These were new clients. The clown was like having a rough day for the party. There's no way they exchanged numbers. They just, because in the montage, all you see is them handing him the weed. There's no texting, so there's no way they have their cell phones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another plot hole.
Yeah, that was weird. But but they're all together, and the whole thing with the grill and using the weed that they got back, or I guess they just bought it from somewhere, but they like put that over the vents to pump it all in.
How much weed would they have to have?
Oh, that'd be a lot of weed
to make that work.
Poof. Easily, it'd have to be like probably like 6 pounds for as much as they threw on there.
Like I'm saying, and where'd they get that from? They didn't have that. They didn't have that much weed. They only showed him, whatever. It was very little. So, yeah.
And they not even that. Where'd they get the money? I'm sure they could have found it. Maybe somebody didn't sell all their weed to Mary Lynn, but like they don't have that much money.
No, they don't. And again, the fact that they came up, these are 3 random people, clearly not the smartest. Maybe the housewife guy, because he just at least dressed nicer. But you got a guy selling burgers under the bridge in Gangland. You have a clown who hates her job, and they came up with this plan together and they built this contraption to make sure. How do you know the vents are going to the conference room? I mean, it's a building. So is there?
Where did they get the plans? Where were the plans? The blueprints? Who read them? Like
there's only 2 rooms.
Lady?
It's only the garage where they made the contraption and the conference room. Okay.
I love that she kept the makeup on. Didn't even like try to remove it. She was like, "Man, I got no time for this. I got out with my guys. I left my job in order to why did they need that many people to do it?"
Well, first of all, who's hiring?
Well, I guess
who's hiring that clown?
The security. Oh, I hope not me. Not me.
Okay, I've been saying like that's first of all, but yeah, I forgot they didn't mess with the security. Great security, by the way.
The one guy was the security guard, and he just maced him. He gets back up. He maces him again.
He maced him about 3 times. I think he maces him 3 times.
Yeah.
Does mace knock you down?
I don't know,
because he gets knocked down 3 times for the mace. Every time I think he sprays him 3 times, and 3 times he falls to the ground.
And gets knocked out. I can imagine. I can imagine falling down. I can imagine falling down and covering my eyes and screaming. Right. But he's not doing that. It's like he got punched. Yeah,
it was okay.
So ridiculous. But somehow, so Roger does convince her, because then he has the footage from that DC Young Fly filmed in his pocket.
Right.
She's like, "Okay, I'm gonna help." And again, we see her as a complete badass, because an innocent guy that she works with, who's probably just some guy trying to make a buck, she has to, while Mary Lynn's doing her TED talk about the weed and getting ready to cue up a video, she does like the old backhand fist to the guy's face, knocks him out, and then plays another graphic for then Roger and DC Young Fly to come in and bomb. They bombed in their own fantasy.
And is it that easy to hijack a computer system and throw whatever tape from a video from a cell phone, mind you, and somehow connect it to this system that automatically plays right away?
And to add on to that, the fact that he had enough time to remix it. It was remixing.
That is true. I forgot about that. So dumb.
He had no time to do that. There was no time for him to spend
doing
doing
everything. That. This movie is almost like one take, right? It takes, literally like every scene is the next scene, like in a row. Like it's like, so it's like literally it's like all one take. If you take away the breaks and you actually see them get in the cars, it just happens within a couple hours. So when did they have time to make it? Yeah, the remix. Or
did you notice the scene that was like airplane when the clown girl? It was basically like she was Mrs. Cleaver and saying, "I speak jive."
Oh yeah,
because they were asking how soon it'll be ready, which was like very silly because he was just burning it, and then once it burns, it's gonna go. There's nothing really for him to do. But she broke it down because he was like going through this. I couldn't even understand him, but she was like, "Yeah, I think it'd be another 5 minutes." Like after all this gibberish, that was what she came up with.
Oh man,
God, and the fact that like, why would something? I get it's supposed to be funny. It's just not. The fact that it was like, yeah, he smoked the weed, and look at my nipples, and he showed his nipples, and they were smoking.
What? Okay, and is you know when I wrote
that down, to that part of your body.
No, but I also don't think it can escape from that part of the body. Like
no,
you know, like it's just weird, and he seemed okay with it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
He was totally fine with it, and then we get a scene that I don't know who the rapper was. It wasn't Little Baby, it was someone else. And he comes onto the stage and he's rapping. I have no idea. I had no idea what was going on. And it went on way too long. And then it ends with Alicia making out with
It was a filler. I mean, the rap, without a doubt, it was a filler because they ran out of whatever to do. So yeah, I mean, yeah. And then she's way too hot for him. I mean, let's be honest. So, but yeah, it's everything, like, it seemed to happen so fast. That yeah.
It was like, let's finish it. It was like the script was written as like a paragraph, and they really didn't add too much of the filler.
Oh, shocker! Because that's what I have for notes. It's just a paragraph.
Yeah. And they cut, even at the end of the movie, they make out, and then it's like 6 months later, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll do this delivery." And the guy's like, "Oh, you still a delivery boy now?" And then he tells about the company, and it's worth like $12 million. And you making delivery still? He's like, "No, I just want to make this delivery." And I'm like,
"Oh, yeah, I know."
What?
Well, that was his ultimate revenge.
That was his
out of all the people in the movie. That's the one he's most angry with.
He should have delivered to all the people like that. To the bank guy. That would be good.
Well, not for nothing though. He should be thanking that
Principal's
guy because
wife?
if he didn't get fired, none of this would have happened.
That's true. It all worked out because he wouldn't have got tossed out of the bank like that.
Correct.
And he wouldn't have sold the girl. Alicia.
He would have 100%. So he should be thanking him. So all right.
But no, he did like a in your face moment.
Yeah.
Didn't work out too well.
And they drove off like Grease. They just drove off in the sunset. No.
They did.
The car flew. Didn't the car fly like Back to the Future?
I actually think so. I turned it off.
Oh my God. Hey, you know what?
As soon as I saw that, I'm like, I'm done.
Well, good thing because the movie was over. But I literally think like, again, the car flies. Like why? Like the movie's so bad and they throw all these things in it. Why just even add that to it? That's almost like adding a slap in the face that, you know what? You sat here and watched this entire movie. We're going to give you one of the dumbest things to end it with just to show you that you sat through this whole movie. Because
oh my God. So that was How High 2. Somehow we spoke 90 minutes about a movie. I think we spoke more about other things than the movie because there wasn't much to it. I don't know.
You don't have to ask.
I don't even know what question to ask. I know I know obviously you wouldn't recommend it. I was trying to think if there was anybody else that you'd cast in a movie like that. But
no, I think the only thing that might have helped is if they go back to a lot of the scenes and show like what really happened. You know, but even then, you know what? I think it was poor casting choices.
I didn't like Roger. Like if Roger was better and him and DC Youngfly had a better chemistry, not saying it would save the movie, but you could have two strong comedic people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So think about it this way: the same exact script, the same scenes, and you have Ice Cube and Chris Tucker. The movie changes.
Yeah.
Right. The same, and again, the script is not great. And the movie's not good at all. And the scenes are so stupid and everything else. But Chris Tucker, you have him instead of the other guy. It changes the movie, you know? So I think it's like one of those things where the movie did not have to be made. I think it was a TV movie, right? It wasn't even a. I
No,
think it was a
went
TV.
into the. I don't know if it went in the theaters, but no, it was a.
Oh, it was a regular. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was regular TV, but it was just MTV scripted, which I don't know if they made making a lot of movies after this. But
You know what?
Yeah,
It was probably the interns of MTV probably made it. It was probably like a group project.
But yeah, no, you're right. Like if you have two strong people like that, and they made me think of like the weird hallucinations. Oh my god, I can't even say it. But like Chris Tucker in the original movie, remember when he gets really high and he's like, nowhere, I'm in a chicken coop. He's like in a chicken coop in the weird flashback bubble, like in that scene. But no, this movie, there wasn't a saving of this movie. It was just they were trying to showcase two people. Like DC Young Fly is always going to be in stuff because he's on Wild Now and he's funny. But that little Yaki, I don't imagine him being in anything after this because it just wasn't. It just wasn't good. There was nothing redeemable about him. But so good to get that out of the way, and hopefully we're on to.
We can only go up from here. We can only go up from here.
So. Yeah. I think even I think this
like
definitely
I said,
bottom three.
This is I don't know which one it would replace.
Mirror 3?
No, that has to stay in the bottom 3. That definitely stays in the bottom 3. But like I think like I would have to look at every movie, but this
Talking Pony. Would you rather watch a Talking Pony again?
I almost would. I think because
you know what?
Too. I think some of I think the Talking Pony, some of the funny like comedic things he said was pretty funny. The pony, or we should say the horse because there is no pony in the movie.
The horse, yeah.
But this has to make it bottom 3. And I judge it a lot on how hard is it to get through the movie, and this was one of them. Like I said, I have 5 lines, and I had a hard time. Like I just had a hard time. So anyway, we can only go from here. Hopefully.
Yeah. Yes, no, definitely. And the next movie is going to be one again, another one of those movies you didn't know existed. Because sometimes especially when it comes to horror, there's always like that first movie is amazing. And then they make maybe the second one, that's well done. We know people from it. And then they just cash it in. Like there's like 47 Amityville movies. But this one, Scanners too. I don't remember ever seeing this movie. Vividly remember the poster, the first one with Michael Ironside on the cover. He's like has his hands near his like temples. But this one should be a lot of fun. And for it, we talked to an actor that it was one of his first roles when he broke in, when he accidentally got into acting, which was a funny story by him, but Russell Yuen. And it was quite fascinating that in the beginning of his career, he went from going to this prestigious, acting school in Canada. And when he was done, because he was Asian, he told me only getting cast in roles that were typecast, like thug or karate. And he knew karate, so it worked out for him to be able to have that work in those type of scenes. But lots of fun stories from his career. One with Gene Hackman cracking his ribs, which was really cool. And he was in the Thanksgiving movie that just came out that crushed it. And he goes, I survived. Spoiler, if you see the movie, Russell, he survives. And he's like, I wonder if I'm going to be in the second one because they're actually going to be making a second one of that movie. So I have to make sure we cover that. But Russell was a lot of fun. So Scanners 2 could be fun. Could be not fun, but it's definitely going to be better than How I 2. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.